Hey guys, Sam Limon back here with another tutorial. This time we're going to be working on our Portfolio Builders assignment, our self-portrait vector outline. So for this project we're going to be working in Illustrator, and we're going to be essentially hand tracing an image and vectorizing it. So most likely JPEG. We're going to be working with our layer structure, be working with our swatches, again practicing with our pen tool. And so what I want you guys to do is go ahead and find a high quality image of yourself. So it could be a self-portrait. I'm also giving you the option to do an image that is not yourself. So maybe a family member, a significant other, somebody, famous that you admire, or anybody, an entertainer, a movie star, somebody in sports. So I've already went ahead and downloaded just an image. So I just found one online. So you could also do that. You could go to unsplash.com or pexels.com and find an image of somebody that you find appealing and you want to recreate. So I'm going to go into my main working folder, and I already created a folder named PBA-Self-Portrait Vector Outline. And I found this image in Pexels. So just remember pexels.com or unsplash.com. And this is what I'm going to be tracing and vectorizing. So this is a JPEG. It is a pixel-based image, and essentially we're going to vectorize it. So let me start off by going to Illustrator. Go ahead and open it, and we're going to create a new file. And go ahead and click on we go ahead and do print and make it a letter size, and let's go ahead and change this to inches over here. And depending on your image, you could do either the orientation horizontal or vertical. Looking at my image, it is more vertical, so I'm going to go ahead and do a vertical image. And we don't need to worry about bleed. Let's go ahead and change the color mode to RGB. We're going to view these on the screen. However, it's okay. We might print some of them and then we'll just transfer them to a CMYK, or for the most part nowadays, if you print something CMYK, it's going to be okay with RGB color. The colors might not be as bright as what we see on the screen, but it'll be okay. And we get this little warning here. That's simply because we clicked on print. So print naturally means it's going to give us CMYK, but I switched it to RGB. Don't worry about that. And we'll just go ahead and do one artboard. We don't need to worry about bleed. And then raster effects, you could do 300. We're not really gonna be working with raster effects that much. So go ahead and click create. And so here is my artboard. So first thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and save it. So I'm going to go to File, Save As. And I'm going to go ahead and put it in the right place. So I'm going to put it in my working folder, and I'm going to look for my Portfolio Builders assignment, self-portrait vector folder. I'm going to go ahead and name this either that, PBA Self-Portrait Vector Outline, or Outline, and then put your name. So anything as long as you know what it is. Essentially, it's a tracing project, so you could name it Outline, Tracing, whatever you want. So I'm going to name this Tracing Assignment Limon. Always go ahead and put your name on it. Make sure it is a .ai file, and in format it's Adobe Illustrator. And let's go ahead and save it. So I can see in my folder I already have that image that I saved. So I'm going to click OK. Now I want to have my layers panel open. So my layer 1, right now it's blank, fresh page. So I want to go ahead and place my image. So I'm going to go to File, Place. And I'm going to go ahead and select the image that I want to place. Essentially, we want to click on Template. So we want to bring it in as a template. By now, we should be a little familiar with bringing images in as templates, but I'll go ahead and explain it once again. I'm going to bring this in as a template. Click Place. Now this image is pretty huge, so I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and I'm going to unlock this image. Now I could select it with my selection tool, and I'm going to hold Shift as I scale it down. So I'm going to kind of place it to where it takes over most of my most of my artboard. So maybe something like that. Actually might make it bigger, a little bit bigger. I noticed that I don't have a lot of this part of her, so I'm going to be trimming that off. So I'm going to be going to the edge over here, and I want to have I'm going to not worry about the background, so I'm going to create my own background, probably just a color thing. So something like that. I'm not going to worry about down here. Maybe make this a little bit bigger. So I'm essentially just going to worry about like from the waist up. I want to make sure her hat is in the frame, so go ahead and place it like that, and then I'm going to go ahead and lock it again. So when it comes to templates, pretty much the template layer allows us to view the image when we go into outline view mode. So if I was to create a rectangle, and let's say right now it would have a white fill and a black stroke. Let me change this to another color, a blue fill. I'm going to click on my layer 1 because this layer is now locked. And if I drag this square, so right now I'm not in outline mode. So if I do zoom in a little, if I do Command or Control Y, I'm able to see the shape and I'm able to see the background. If this was not a template, I could always double click here and uncheck template. Notice how this image, it gives me the full color. It gets darker, and if I go to Command Y again, I lose the image. So all I see is the image frame and I see my outline. So I don't want that. And then I get my image back when I do Command or Control Y. So I want to make sure this is a template. And again, we could always bring in an image. And if we forget to click on template, we could always double click on the image and click on template here, and that creates a template layer. So it's that special layer. When we do Command Y, we still see the image. And let me go ahead and delete this. This was just for demonstration purposes. Now, I want to create some layers beforehand. So I'm going to kind of assess what I have. So I have like the hat, the hair, the face, the dress. Maybe her arm might be like a separate layer. So let's go ahead and create some layers. So my layer 1, I'm gonna name it hat. You know, if I had glasses, that would be separate. Part of the face, I'm gonna group that. So like the eyes, the nose, the lips, that's gonna be part of face. So I'm gonna make a new layer down here. Name it face. Create a new layer. I'm gonna name this hair. And we could always, you know, modify these, change the stacking order, things like that as we need. So I might have like a couple of them depending on, for example, hair or actually hats. We might have like the top part and then the back part, since this is going to go behind. Let's make another one. I'm going to name this dress. And let me go ahead and create another one named background. So BG. That one's obviously going to be at the very bottom. So let me drag that one down. And I think that should be it for now. You know, we could always create more layers as we need them. So one thing I want you guys to understand is when we're creating these layers, it's not necessarily we're creating shapes and we're trying to put them next to each other. What we're going to be doing essentially is, you know, let's think about the shapes as layered shapes. We're going to think of them sitting on top of each other. So let's say when we create a shape, for example, like let's say this arm shape over here, and we don't want to like match it up exactly with the dress. So what we want to do is think about it as layers. So when we create this arm shape, we could go past it and make it, you know, go in here, and then we could create the layer of the dress above this arm. And then we have like our clean line, because if we try to think of it as two separate shapes that butt up next to each other, it's going to be impossible to get this line. So we'll do the line on the dress, and then for example we do the shape of the arm, it's going to go behind that dress. So let me just give you a quick example here. I'm just going to work on dress here, and I'm going to do do a black outline with my pen tool. Select my pen tool, get a black outline, and I'm going to get like a red color. And this is just going to be a quick one, right? So this is going to be my shape here for the dress. I'm not going to finish it off. So let's say that's the main shape for the dress. And now I'm going to do another shape for the arm. So I'm going to click on my pen tool. And now I'm going to select kind of like a skin tone. What I don't want to do is, click here and try to butt it up against this. What I want to think about it is as layers. So because that's going to be impossible to get that line there. So I'm going to delete that. I want to think of this as a stack of shapes. So what I could do is go in here, match it here, and I could go in here and now what I could do is go to my layers panel and let's say open up. I did these both on dress layer, and I could bring this shape underneath. So now I have my nice clean shape for the dress. And then this shape is underneath, right? So we're working with the advantage of layers here. So let me go ahead and delete both these shapes. So I'm going to click on my selection tool, click and drag to select both of them, and click on delete. Now what I want to do is I want to sample some colors here first. So I'm going to think about like some skin tones and parts of the dress, parts of the hair. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some samples. So I'm gonna temporarily turn my this layer, my template layer, into not a template layer. So let me go ahead and turn that off. So if I just double click on the image in my layers panel and uncheck template, click OK. Now I'm going to zoom out. Let me go ahead and make another layer. I'm going to take this to the top. I'm going to name this colors. Hit return. Now I'm going to go ahead and create pretty much a palette of colors. So I'm going to either do a rectangle or an ellipse tool. I'm going to do a rectangle there, rectangle tool. I'm going to select no stroke. And I'm going to create a series of swatches in my colors layer. So go make sure we were selected on our colors layer. And I'm going to think about skin tone. So I'm going to hold shift and create this shape. Hold option and shift to drag down another shape, and then do command D a couple times. So that gives me a whole row of shapes. And let's see, 5 should be good. We might use less depending on what we want to do. I'm going to move these to the side. Now I have all these selected. Hold option or alt and shift and drag to the right. I'm going to separate it a little, and then option shift drag to the right. So what I want to do is select create a color palette for the skin tones, another one for maybe the hair, another one for maybe the dress. So everything that has like shading. So I want to select this first one and then click on the eyedropper tool, which is right here. If you cannot find it, it could possibly be under the toolbar here. So you could select, and we're going to have a lot of tool options. So it might be hidden under there. If not, simply click on the letter I, and it'll take me to the eyedropper tool. So now I want to go ahead and go into zoom in and find like the lightest skin tone. So maybe around the chin area here, and I'm gonna go ahead and select there. So that gives me a light skin tone there. Click on my selection tool, go to the next one, and then click on the eyedropper tool. Maybe select something in the cheek area. So this is going to be a little darker. And we could always manipulate these a little bit more afterwards. So I'm going to select this one, click on my selection tool, select the next one. So maybe I'm going to get like 2 midtones. Now I'm going to click my eyedropper tool. Let's go into like a little bit of a darker area. And then click my selection tool. So that's light, and then that one gets a little darker. Select on the next one, click our letter I, I'm going to go somewhere up here in the forehead. So that one's a little bit darker. And I'm going to click on this one, select the letter I, and go into maybe this dark area here. So that should be good for the skin tones, and we could always manipulate them a little bit better, so you know, as we need them. And then next I'm going to worry about the dress, so I'm going to do select here, click on the eyedropper tool, so select eye, and I'm going to find like the lightest part of the red, so like a highlight, select this, maybe that area, and then I'm going to zoom out a little bit, select the next one, click on the letter I, maybe get more of a mid-tone here, and then select the next one, click on the letter I, go somewhere a little bit darker, and then select the next one, letter I, and maybe that would be good enough for those. So I'm gonna go ahead, maybe this one, let's see if this color is lighter, this red. So there we go. So now I have this one, which is like the lightest red. Select all of these, bring them down, and let me go ahead and do the hat. So this one, I'm gonna sample this part, and kind of like a middle color, and then dark color, which will be black. And let's see if we could get like a lighter color. So zoom in actually, because I know it has this this little like white line. Let me zoom in and try to get that color, try to sample that color. And we could always manipulate it, so that looks pretty good. So it's kind of a little bit greenish. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete this one. We don't need all the colors. The more we do, like the more complicated we could get, but we just want to have a nice palette to work with, and we could always come back and edit if we need to. So let me go ahead and create this as a template layer again. Double click here and click on template, click OK. Alright, so now what I'm gonna do is essentially I could start drawing now. So I'm gonna go ahead and select my pen tool, and let me start off with something like the hat. So I'm going to click on the hat layer because that's where I want to work, and I actually have my caps lock on, so that's why this X shows up. So if I click on my caps lock, there is my pen tool, and let me go ahead and give this no fill right now and maybe a black stroke. In reality, it does not matter because we're going to be changing the colors. Right now, we are just going to be creating our shapes. So let me go ahead and zoom in here. And we are going to be working with our pen tool. So it is, you know, it's an indispensable tool. So that's why I keep pushing for the pen tool. It's one of those where I could show you, and you know, it's going to be up to you and the practice that you put in with the pen tool to get comfortable with it. But you know, once you get it, you could create some really intricate selections. So it's indispensable both in Illustrator and Photoshop. It is essentially the same tool. So if you recall, if I just start clicking and I click and hold to make a point, if I want to create a corner out of one of these points, I just have to go back and click on the point, and that breaks the handle. Whereas in Photoshop, similar tool, it's pretty much the same. But in Photoshop, you have to come back and hold Option and then click this, and then you know it's editable like this as a corner. So go ahead and delete this. And another tool we're going to get into a little bit is the pencil tool as well. It's not as accurate, but it's a little more intuitive. So we'll practice on some selections that don't matter as much, where we could you know, create some shapes. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use my pen tool to create the shape for the hat. So I'm going to click on my pen tool, and at this point it really doesn't matter if I have a fill or a or any strokes. So I'm just going to leave it like that. I am in view mode, so sorry, in outline mode. So I could do Command Y. It doesn't change yet, but I'm just going to start at a point here, and I'm going to create the whole shape, and then I'm going to divide it into several shapes. I'm going to start at this point here. Zoom in a little bit and just click and drag. So by now we should have had some practice with the pen tool. So we could click and drag here. Now this doesn't have to be perfect. This could be just representational. One thing that I did do, it was if you go to view and turn off your smart guides, so make sure this is unchecked, because if I have it checked, what it has a tendency of doing, it's like snapping the angle. See right there, it snaps. So I kind of just want it free flowing so that I could you know, have these lines as smooth as I want to, not as, you know, guides like when you're trying to line things up. So make sure smart guides are off. Now remember, we're worried about the shapes being on top of each other, so I'm not worried about, I'm just going to continue a shape here. And since this is technically going to be behind the face and behind the hair, I'm just going to simply continue this over here. And then we could play with our stacking order. The same thing right here where the hat goes behind the fingers, we really cannot tell where it goes. So I'm just going to, you know, guess and make an educated guess there and take it underneath the fingers. It does not matter because once we do the fingers, they're going to be above anyway. So let me go ahead and do this and just connect it here. So now we have a solid shape. If I do Command Y, it was selected with this black. So now we have that whole shape. Let me do Command Y again. Now I'm going to divide this into 3 parts. So I'm going to have this, which is going to be behind, and then maybe the brim of the hat right here, and then maybe this top part. So I'm going to go ahead and divide it right now. So what I could do is I could click on my pencil tool. Now the way the pencil tool works, actually if I deselect this, now if I click on my pencil tool, double click it, I do have these pencil tool options. So when I draw with the pencil tool, it's a bit more intuitive than the pen tool, so I could just literally click and drag. Now how accurate or how smooth I want it, this is where I choose that. So you could play around with these settings. You could try accurate and your lines are going to be kind of jagged. I could go smooth and it kind of smooths them out for you. And I'm going to keep these options selected, so keep selected. That means when you're done, when you click and drag a line, it's going to stay selected. Close paths when ends are within 15 pixels. So if you, for example, draw a shape with that, if you're 15 pixels or closer from the place where you started, then it's going to connect the path, so it's going to give you a shape. And then edit selected paths, so you could always come back and edit it if this is selected. And go ahead and keep this. So follow these settings and click OK. Now what I want to do with this pen tool is with the pencil tool is create this shape of the brim right here. It's not going to be perfect, especially since I clicked on that smoothing option. But I'm going to use this to divide this hat up so I could send this area to the back, so behind her hair, behind her face. And this area is obviously in front of her hair, in front of her face. So we're going to have to break up this shape. So I'm going to just click and drag here with the pencil tool. And I'm going to follow the brim here. And let me just click here and continue it. So I want to make sure I go like outside of it here and outside of it right here. So now what I want to do is use this line that I made to break this apart. So I could click on my selection tool, click and drag to select now the whole shape of the hat and this brim line. And I could use my shape builder tool just like we did in the regatta artwork. So select that, and now if I hover over these 2 shapes, it's telling me it's gonna give me 2 shapes. So I could just click and drag right there and click and drag down here. So now it gives me 2 shapes. And if you recall again, I could zoom in and I could get rid of these ends if I hold Option or Alt. The same thing, I'm still on my shape builder tool, and I could delete this and I could delete this line. So now if I do Command Y, it actually changed to outlines. Click on my selection tool, so now I have this top shape and this bottom shape. And I'm going to create one more line to divide pretty much this line that goes across here. So I'm going to do that one to divide, to give it another division here. So let me try my pencil tool. Let me click away. I'll try my pencil tool. If it works, great. If not, then I could always come back and use my pen tool. So let me use the pencil tool. And I'm going to start out here, come and kind of follow this line. And I want to end it over here. Now I'm going to just simply pull away. Now again, let me click on my selection tool. This one stays selected. I'm going to hold shift and select this top shape. And now I could go ahead and click on my shape builder tool and do the same thing. Plus here, and then delete these ends. And now I have these two shapes. Let me zoom in so I could refine these just a little bit. So I could do Command Y, click on my direct selection tool, click here and bring this down, click here and bring this one down as well, so I could line them up. This is kind of an optional step because it's just so minor that you're not going to be able to know the difference or to see the difference from far away. If you zoom in like this, then yes, you will be able to see it. So okay, so now let me do Command minus, and there we go. Okay, so now what we could see is, I see that this bottom shape is a lot darker, so I could select this one, select the bottom one, and I'm gonna, well, first of all, I'm gonna get rid of the outlines, and then I'm gonna select a really dark color, so the darkest black that we chose here. So I'm gonna click on the letter I and click on this one to select it. So it automatically selects this, and this, since this had no stroke, it gives me no stroke there. And then with these, I'm going to choose the next darkest shade, which was this one. So I'm going to choose both of these shapes. And then I'm going to click on the letter I and select this. Yeah, it almost looks the same. If I zoom in real close, I could see that it's slightly different. And I could always go back and select both these shapes, double click this, and remember when I said we could edit it, I'm going to make it a little bit lighter. Click OK, and there we go. So that gives it a little bit of color. So now I'm going to do Command Y. I'm going to give it these two lines here, and then I notice this part is a little more shaded. Sorry, this is a little bit more highlighted than this, so this side is shaded, and the same thing here. So I'm just going to create you know, some simple shapes to be able to break this up. But for now, let me go ahead and create these lines. So I'm going to click on my pen tool, select here, and just follow this line. And looks like it goes all the way over here. And if I hold Command or Control and click away, that gives me that gets me away from like the next line being connected. And I'll start up this new line here. And hold Command or Control and click away. Now if I go to Command Y, click on my selection tool. Actually, I cannot select these. So let me do Command Y again. Hold Shift and select this one. Command Y. Now I'm going to switch. I'm going to actually select black for these. So select black here, and I'm going to swap this, the fill and the stroke. And let me go ahead and increase the stroke a little bit. And I notice the color is actually a little brown because I want it actually black. So let me click on I, select this color down here, sample this color, swap it again, and there we go. So now we could see, increase the stroke to 2, and I could change the stroke here to have this width profile. And this one pretty much just has sharp ends. So if I click on that, and now I deselect, click away, it gives me those lines. So it starts giving me like some shapes for the hat. Do Command Y again. So now if I notice, this part looks a little lighter, so I'm going to use some of these like lighter colors from over here. And I'm going to keep these darks as is. So actually this shape, let me go ahead and select it. And let me use a gradient, so Command Y, because I see that this side has highlights, this side has darks. I'll do Command Y, and I'm going to go ahead and select on my gradient panel. So if you don't see it, go into, oh, here it is. You could go into Window and find gradients. So here's that. Actually, let me copy this color because I do want to use this color. So I'm going to double click on this color box and highlight this color, Command C or Command V to copy it. Now I'm going to click on my gradient tool, double click on this one, go to this color, and I'm going to choose RGB or CMYK. Let me highlight this, do Command V. So that gives me that dark brown, and on this side I'm going to highlight it and let me choose this lighter brown. I could always come back and change it. Actually, I'm going to select this color, so I'm going to double click on this one and I gotta add it to my swatches, or I could just copy this, Command C. Okay, let me select this now, double click its color, go in here and paste it right here in the hex code and hit return or enter. There we go. So now we get that highlight on the hat. And now on this one, we're going to do the same thing. So except we're going to add highlights and shadows depending on how it is. So I'm going to click the letter I. So I get my eyedropper tool and select this color. So now this gives me this this gradient. However, if we do Command Y, I see this has a highlight, this is dark, this has a highlight, and it goes dark here. So I want to think about my highlights. So highlight is here, dark here, and highlight. So highlight there, highlight there. So I'm going to click on this highlight, and then I'm going to move it right there. And then I want to select this dark area. So that way that selects it, and then I'm going to put one right here. So actually, let me double click this, copy this color, the dark one, and double click on this one and paste the dark color there. And we actually want another highlight over here. So that's going to be this color. So let me select this one, copy it, and double click here and paste it here. So there we go. So now I have a highlight, then it goes to dark, then it goes to highlight again. Let me manipulate these because technically the highlight would be over here if our light source is coming from this way. And I could always click on my gradient tool, and this should probably be a little more like this, maybe. Not much of an angle. And I could always move this around. Maybe something like that. I'm just trying to get these highlights to where they make sense. So I think something like that makes sense. Let me double click on this color, and actually I'm gonna change it to CMYK, and I'm gonna add a little bit more black just to make it darker there. Make sure it's selected actually first. So now I can see it getting darker there, and I'm going to double click on this one and the same thing, make it a little darker. So there we go. And I'm going to say that looks pretty good. Let me go ahead and turn off the hat. Again, this is not going to be perfect, but we do want to get it pretty close. Let me move this a little bit more to the right. I have to select it first. No wonder it wasn't going anywhere. And there we go. So I'm going to say that looks pretty good. So now this hat, eventually this part is going to have to go behind. This part is all on top. So I'm going to put hat front here, name this layer hat front. And I'm going to make a new layer and name it hat back. And I'm going to select this one and drag it. If I just select it here, and then if I drag this blue little selection here from hat front to hat back, that sends it to the back. So now what I want to do is I want to have my hat front pretty much all the way at the top, and my hat back, as long as it's behind the face, it should be good. So that's our hat. Let me go ahead and do Command Y again. So now what I want to do is I want to start creating a shape for the hair. So I want to go into my, I think for right now I could lock my hat, hat back and hat front. And now I want to click on my hair area. So pretty much I'm looking at like the overall shape. So it's going to be this curly or wavy shape, and it goes over here. And I have this shape over here. And then again, I'm going to have this hair goes in the front of everything pretty much, and this one goes behind. So I'm going to split it up to hair front and hair back, and then the face is going to be in between. So the face layer is going to be above this one. However, it's going to be below this one. So let me actually do this hair front. And let me work on this shape. And remember, it's going to be stacked underneath this one, so I'm not really worried about this area. I don't have to try to match this shape. It's going to go underneath this hat, which is in the front already. So it's going to tuck underneath there. So I'm going to click on my pen tool. I'm going to zoom in. And I'm going to start it up here because remember, this shape is on top. So I'm going to go here, click and drag. And I'm not being super picky, but I am going to try to get close. So maybe here, if I just click once, then I could, get a sharp corner off of that. And then remember with our pen tool, if we just go back to a point that we made, that creates like a sharp point. So we could start doing that. So I just want to get a nice like overall shape of the hair. And I don't have to include, every strand or every group of strands. And this is all going to be like a representation anyways, so as long as it's pretty close, we should be fine. And once we get up here, remember I want to tuck it underneath the hat, so I'm going to do that. And let's see. I'm not really going to worry about this strand here, just make my life a little bit easier. So we have that. I'm going to do Command Y. I didn't really make a what's it called, a palette for the hair. So what I could do is do Command Y. I'm going to select it for now with my selection tool, and if I press the eyedropper tool here, I could click and it's going to pick up the original color from anywhere here. So I could click on that like blondish look, see how it changes it there. So if I do Command Y, it does that. If I select this part of the red from the dress, it selects that. So I'm going to choose like a middle point for the hair, from the hair. Let me see, something like that for now. I could always come back and change it, and notice how it is tucked in here in behind this part of the hat. So let me go ahead and do Command Y. Now let me go ahead and create a new layer, and this one's going to be named hair back, or hair behind face, or something. So I want to layer it or stack it underneath underneath the face layer. I'm going to drag this one underneath the face, select it, and then click on my pen tool. And again, I'm going to start creating those shapes. So looks like it's around here. Now if you notice, I have this is selected in orange. That's because every layer that I add, it creates a color for it, so you could tell what's selected. So if you don't like a color, you could always like double click, and then I could change it from orange to, let's say, magenta. Click OK, so now it's showing magenta. So just a way to visually see what layer you're on. Let's go up here. Pretty much, I'm going to undo this part. This is going to be behind the face, so the face is going to be connected to the neck. So I could just create this shape here. And there we go, Command Y. So there's that part of the hair. And now let's go ahead and do the main shape for the face. So let's click on face, zoom in, and click on my pen tool. So again, the face is underneath the hair front and the hat's front. So I could start up here. Doesn't matter how far in I go because the hat's going to cover there. And then if I have the dress in the front, the same thing. I could finish here and go over here in this area. And the hair front is going to cover this, so I could go up here. Command Y. Now let me go ahead and select a color. So I could click on I. And I'm going to just choose this lightest, or actually like one of these middle colors for the skin tone. So now you could see it kind of start building up. And actually, I'm going to say this looks a little funny, so I could always manipulate this however I want. So I'm going to click on my pen tool, actually my direct selection tool, and I'm going to move this hair up here and move this point up here. So now it seems like the hair is coming from like that part of the hat. Hard to tell from the image, but it would make more sense if it was, I think, a little further this way. So there we go. Something like that. Command Y. And there we go, we're starting to get our basic shapes here. So actually what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set up a palette for the hair. So I'm gonna do Command or Control Y, zoom out, and let me turn my template layer back into a regular layer. So unlock it, double click it, click on template to get rid of the template. And let me go ahead and hide all these layers. Might as well hide all of them except for colors. And let me select the colors, move these away. Make sure I select them with my selection tool. I was grabbing some points there. And let me go ahead and select this whole row, hold Option and Shift and drag these to the right. So again, I'm going to select on this one. Let me actually, might as well bring it in over here to make it closer. So I'm going to select the last one for the darkest color. Click on the letter I or select my eyedropper tool. Select the dark area. And then I'm going to select on the first one. Click on I and select on this like blondish area. There we go. So that's going to be some of my highlights. And everything in the middle here is going to be go a little bit darker until it gets to the very dark black. So let me click on the middle here and do like a middle tone. So maybe something like that. And this one's going to be something in between that mid-tone and the highlight. So maybe something like that. And then this one's going to be, again, something in between this mid-tone and the very dark. And I could always come back and edit it, make it a little lighter. So something like that. So there we go. So let me go ahead and turn this back into a template layer. Click OK. Let me zoom out and let me go ahead and bring these over to all my palettes. And let me go ahead and turn the eyes on all of these layers again. What I'm going to do is select the hair, and I'm going to start off with the darkest color. So I'm going to select the black. And then I'm going to work my way. I'm working on the on pretty much all of these tones. So I'm going to do Command Y. Okay, so next I am going to start building out like the hair shape. So I'm going to do Command Y. And I'm going to go ahead and select this color here, since we chose that other color. And then I'm gonna go into my hair back layer. So here's where I want to work in. And then I'm gonna do Command Y and choose my pen tool. So I'm gonna do like a overall colors, do like this medium brown. And then I'm gonna do some of the, some of the more medium browns and then some of the highlights. So I'm just gonna work my way and go down like a little bit lighter. So I'm gonna go here. And I could always, make it up as I go as well. do Command Y. Here's part of that hair. And now I'm going to go into the hair front and I'm going to do the same thing. So click on my pen tool again and start up over here. I'm going to follow this area. Whoops. Press escape. For some reason, I got into the face layer, so let me go ahead and you know what, let's make it a habit of locking everything but the layer that we're working on. So let's see, hair back, hair front, that's where I was at. So click on my pen tool. If you ever kind of click away, you could always come back and connect by just clicking on one of the points, on your last point. So there was a little confusion there where I accidentally clicked on the face layer, and then it just kind of started building the path there. So do not want that. Now I got those shapes there. Move this one just slightly over here. So then I could work on a little bit more of these highlights. So Command Y. I'm selecting, first of all, I select this one and that puts this color here. And then I'm going to lock up the colors, and I'm only going to unlock my hair front and hair back. So let's go ahead and do hair front, and Y. Always do Command Y and come back and see what I'm doing. Whoops. So let's see. A couple undos. I'm going to go ahead and just go in here. And there we go, that's one part of it. And I could probably do some more of those highlights, or semi-highlights somewhere else. Let's go and see where they would fit. So we could start doing a lot more down here. And maybe going up into this area. I'm gonna click on my pencil again, make sure I'm on my hair front layer. And maybe I'll start some that go into here. I'm going to try to focus on more of this area. So and I could do it in parts. I could do that. And start up another shape here. There we go, a little bit more. And let's see. Let me go into my the back part of the hair. And again, select my pen tool. Start working on these shapes. that shape. And maybe I'll add a few more, a little bit more over here. And some of these could overlap, it's okay. And I could add a little more down here. And now I got some like major highlights that I could do. So I'm going to do those with this color. So I'm going to select this one. I'll actually go to my layers panel. I'm going to go to make sure I'm on hair back, hair front. Let's see, hair back. Okay, so everything's in the right place. So I'm going to go to unlock my color, select this color, and then go to hair back because I want to start working here. And now I'm going to do, I'm going to swap these colors because now I want to do lines. So I'm going to go with my pencil tool. I'm going to click on the letter N. So that gives me my pencil tool, and I could do lines like this. I want to make sure I am on my either hair front or hair back. And so I want the stroke with this color. I was still selected on this one when I switched that, so it made the stroke that highlight color. So now what I could do is go in here and just start painting a lot of these. So the reason why I'm able to do a lot of them like over each other is because if I double click on my pencil tool, I have all these options. If I had the options a little bit different, it would like edit paths that I already have. So just want to be mindful of those. And I'm gonna draw these loosely. However, eventually I'm gonna come back and put them line it up nicer within the within that hair shape. So that looks good for here. Maybe I'll add a couple more. And then I'm going to go to my hair front. So I'm going to be working in this area here. So I'm going to now add these here. I could tell there's a lot of these little highlights here in this area, so I'm going to do a lot here. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I'm gonna call that done here. A few more here. So now what I could do is I could select all of these. So let me go ahead and click on with my selection tool. It would be very hard to select all of these since I have them all in the hair front or in hair back layer. So I'm gonna select one of these, and then I could go to let's see, go to select, same, and then fill color. So it's gonna select all the ones with the same fill. I'm gonna bump up the stroke just a little bit, and then I'm gonna change these to this second width profile. So it goes from lighter, from thin to thick to thin again. Let me deselect, and let's see. So yeah, that looks pretty good. So I noticed some of these are, I guess like this one, when I clicked on the, when I did the pencil tool, I didn't end this point. I could see the line coming back. So I'm going to select a couple of these and just delete them. So I'm going to delete this one, and I might come back and redo them. This one, go ahead and delete that one. So any of these that have like a square point, because I did not want the square point, I wanted those, the tapered lines. So I'm going to click on the end tool, the pencil tool again, and do a few more here. Here's another one that I want to delete, and then my pencil tool. This is where, you know, we're doing our own thing, so we could treat this how we want. So I'm going to do these, and now I'm going to select one of these and then go to object, select, same, and then stroke, stroke color, and then again I'm going to choose this. And you know what, let me try 1 point stroke, see how that looks. The lines are a little thinner. Let me zoom out, and yeah, I'm going to go ahead and call that good. And now I could come back and manually manipulate some of these. So if I click on my direct selection tool, for example, on this one, I could see that the line goes out here. So I'm going to bring this one in, and I'm going to use the handle here to curve it to where it is within this shape. And I'm going to move it over here, like to the left hand side of that strand of hair. And if there's any other that I want to manipulate as well, I could always do that. So the key to this is to select the point first, and then I could drag it around, and then I could move the handle on it. Go ahead and select this one. Maybe I don't want as much of a curve. This one looks a little funny here, so I'm going to remove some points by going to my options bar and clicking to delete some of those curves, or some of those points actually. So I'm pretty happy with the hair there. And now let's go ahead and lock the hair. So I'm going to lock in hair back and hair front. And let me go ahead and do the dress shape. I'm going to click on dress, unlock it, and I'm going to select this middle color. So select here, and then go back to my my dress layer, and I'm going to do Command Y or Control Y, and I'm going to click on my pen tool, and now I'm going to start building out this dress. So go here, and my artboard ends down here. I'm going to go just past it, and then I could just finish it off right there. I'm not going to follow like all these little ridges. I'm just going to do like some nice curves right here. And right here we kind of just make it up wherever we think it goes behind this hair. So I'm going to do Command Y. I want the dress behind behind the hair front, but above the face, and it actually goes over the hair back area. So that looks like that is correct. Do Command minus. Okay, so there's that. Let me do Command Y again. And we can start bringing in some of these shadows. So do Command Y, click on my selection tool, so I could click on the letter V and click away. And now I could click on, we could start doing some of the highlights. So I'm going to select this one here, and then deselect, so click away. So now I have that color loaded up. I could do Command Y, and let me look for some of those like major highlights. So I'm going to do highlights. I'm going to treat like these folds as like the highlights. So I'm going to click on my pen tool, make sure I'm on my dress layer, and I'm going to start just working on these. That's going to be one highlight. Let me go right here. And this whole area is pretty much, I'm going to treat it as a highlight. So go up here. And then I see another one here. And the last one up here. So this one's going to be right by the edge of this dress. And I'm going to treat this as a highlight as well. Another couple here. Okay, so there I have some highlights. And then I could add like some midtones and some shadows. So now I'm going to go and select this one, Command Y, and I actually want to, I might transfer some of these like to the back, like behind this, because these are going to be beneath the highlights. So actually they might, well, we'll see how it plays out, but I'm going to draw them above. So go to my dress layer, Command Y, navigate to the dress. I believe this area should be like a shadow. And I am going to set these actually behind the behind these highlights. So I'm going to hold Shift and go to my layers panel, and then I'm going to drag these behind all these lines, but above my main dress, my main dress shape. So this one, it was picking up the color, this dark color. So I'm going to click on my eyedropper tool and select this color. And I'm going to send it to the back again. So there we go. Select this, then click on my pen tool. Click on my direct selection tool, so that's letter A, and go right there. Again, bring this one down. Now click on my pen tool and do a few more of these. So and again, just want to make sure these are arranged behind the highlights. So I'm going to bring them down. This one as well, bring it down underneath the highlights. And then I'm going to go ahead and select this darker one. So click away to deselect from everything, select this darker one, and then go into the dress layer. And we'll start doing some of these shadows. Let me zoom in. see a lot of them here, so I'm gonna do this. And let me do this here. Actually, this is going to cover these. And I'm going to take this all the way to the end here. I'm going to go past this dress here. And maybe I missed a few of the highlights here, so I could come back and do them. Command Y, let me zoom out. So now I'm going to hold shift. With this shape, since I went past the dress, I'm going to click on it, hold shift, and select here. And what I want to do is select on my shape builder tool, hold option, and I want to delete this area. So that deletes the extra. So now I have my dress has a separate dark shape right over it here, and the lines match up exactly. And maybe I want to add a little bit of shadow here. So I'm going to click on my pen tool. So with that shape all around it, I'm going to use my shape builder tool to delete that area. So click on that, hold option, select that. There we go. Now it has that second tone there. And I'm going to add not the lightest color, but the one, this one here. So I'm going to select there, and then select my dress layer, select my pen tool, and I'm going to do some of the highlights that should be over here as well. There we go. And maybe I want to add a lot more of this darkness over here. So I'm going to select now my darkest one, click on my dress layer, and again, work this area. And this one I'm kind of just going for it freely. Select this and then use my shape builder tool again, hold option and delete this part. So there we go, different tones of our dress. And let me actually go ahead and save it. Done a lot of work without saving. So I'm going to call this good for my dress. Actually, let me just edit some of these a little bit. So I'm going to click on this one, bring this one all the way up. And I'm going to make some of these go all the way down. So let me zoom this in. Click on my direct selection tool. Click on this point, drag it down. Click on this one, drag it down. Same with these. Just going to hide them behind the highlight right there. And there we go. Okay, so I think our dress is good now. So let me go ahead and lock it. Now let's go ahead and work on the face a little bit. So I'm going to do Command Y, unlock the face, and select that layer. And let me start doing some shapes. So let me do the lips first. So let me click on my pen tool. Again, the color doesn't matter right now. Zoom in a little bit more. I'm going to do the overall shape. Now I'm going to do another shape in here. And I'm going to use this to cut this out. I could do Command Y, hold Shift, and I could actually select my go to my Pathfinder panel. If I don't have it, go to Window, Pathfinder, and I'm going to subtract front. This is my front shape, so I'm going to go ahead and subtract it. Now I'm going to do Command Y. Now I could always add like a white layer for the teeth, so I'm going to just click on my pen tool, and I'm going to hide it behind this so it doesn't matter what color it is now. I could double click on it now, double click on the colors, make it white, and I could bring that behind the lips. So there we go. And actually now I could start doing like some highlights to the lips, so I could see this part is a little lighter. So I'm going to click on my pen tool, or actually my pencil tool, and I could start doing this shape around here. And then let me also do this shape here. If I do Command Y to go back to these, actually I want to select all of these. Hold this, select that, and select the overall lips. Command Y. Now I could click on my shape builder tool, select that one, hold Option to get rid of these lines, select this one, and select this one. And so now I could individually select each one. So I could click on my group selection tool, do Command Y, and I could select these. So I could select this one, and I'm going to click the eyedropper tool and select here. So I'm going to select the color from there. So it's bringing in the color from the main image, and I could always edit them again. So now I'm going to select this part, eye, and then so I can see that's a little bit darker. I'm going to select a little darker area. And then this one, I'm going to select this one, Command Y, and then I'm going to select this highlight. And I noticed I had like a little bit here, so I could select this one and go ahead and delete it. And I could do Command Y. Let me actually select this, and I'm gonna make it a little darker red. And then these two, click on my eyedropper tool. So click on eye, select this color, and then I'm gonna go and make it a little bit lighter. So there we go. So now I have the highlights and the shadows of the lips. Zoom in here. Click on my direct selection tool and let me edit this just a little bit. And then I could also add like a few highlights here. So I'm manually going to draw that. So I'm going to click on my pencil tool and I'm just going to add like a little something like that. And once I'm close to the edge here, it turns it into a shape. Now I want to, let's say I'm going to click on eyedropper tool, select this color. Now I'm going to go and make it a little lighter here, maybe almost white. It's very light pink. And then what I could do is also mess with the opacity on this. So I could bring it down a bit, maybe about 50%. And now let's click on our pencil tool and I'm going to draw like another highlight on the lips here. So on this lower lip. And connect that. Now I'm going to click on my eyedropper tool and select this color. And there we go. So those lips are done. And you can check out some tutorials on YouTube. Actually, there's like a lot more detail that people put into these. So you could add more, but it's just, it becomes more, time consuming. Instead of doing this line, there's like a bunch of little lines as well. So people do that as well. But yeah, you could do some research on that. I'm keeping mine a little simple. Let me go ahead and zoom in on this nose. And so I'm going to create these shapes here for the nostrils and this part of the nose. So I'm going to click on my pen tool. I'm going to do a black fill. And I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to do this shape here. And I'm going to kind of get this curve here. If we notice, like a lot of these, they're not like well-defined shapes in our bodies. It's just kind of like shadows, but we do want to define it here just a little bit. Whoops. So at some point I selected this. Let me go back and click on the eyedropper tool, click this light skin tone. There we go. So let me zoom into here and let's clean this up a little bit. So with my direct selection tool, I notice how I get like the main shape from the image, and then after that I could come back and just make this a little bit nicer, so we don't have to follow the image 100%. Kind of just using it as a reference guide, and then we'll come in and could edit these points just to make it a little bit smoother. Go. And let's do the eyes in the same fashion. So let me actually lock the face layer for now, because I keep clicking on it when I click away. So click on my pen tool. I want to do a black stroke and no fill, because I want to do this this upper eyelid area, Command Y, and let's click away and then click it again. And let's change this to this this width profile. Make this a little bit thinner, so I'm going to do like a 0.75 and do this again here. So with my pen tool, remember, if we hold Command or Control and click away, then I want to select it. So I'm clicking V as in Victor to select my selection tool. Select this one, Command Y, and let's do the same thing that we did to the other one. So 0.75 points, and then on this width profile, we're going to do the same one. Do Command Y. And I'm going to click with my pen tool. I'm going to outline this eye. And then I'm going to just do this overall shape here. I'm going to send this to the back eventually, but start doing these eyelashes. And I'm going to bring this right there. Reason being is I'm going to switch this to a black fill, and then I'm going to move this one behind this eye shape. Can't really tell right now. Now let me fill this area with white. So actually, I'm going to try to match this the best that I could. So I could go in here. And just kind of redo this. Actually, it should really go up here. Connect this one. Now this one should be white. And let's bring this one down. So I could do Command and the left square bracket, or Control left square bracket. So that brings it back one step at a time. And I want to bring this one all the way underneath this. So actually, should have planned this a little better, but I could always come back and move these points behind this. So I'm trying to match these white lines within here. And this one I could always move up here. There we go. And then we could always add more eyelashes here. So I could click on my pencil tool. So I could click N. And I could add a few of them. So I could select no fill and a black stroke. And I'm going to do 2 on these. And I'm going to change this to actually this one now, where it goes from the width that it originally has up to a point. So now if I draw, actually might have to do it after. So there we go. So I'll draw these first and just kind of follow what we already have. And then I'm going to go ahead and select one of these, and then go to select, same fill color. And then actually, let me see how much gets selected, because I did have other things here. So maybe I don't want to select that area. Yeah, so something in here has that fill. So let me delete that. Might have to individually do these. So you could always hold Shift, Command Y, hold Shift, and select these individually. Now change these to this one. So there you go. Sometimes it's hard to select them when we see the colors here, so Command Y helps, because then we could see the path directly. And we could always move some of these, move it there to a better place. Something like that. And we could always make copies, so if I hold Option, I could copy this one over here. Okay, so now I want to draw the eye shape, so I'm going to select the ellipse tool, hold Shift and drag and select. Hold Shift, so make it a little smaller. Move it into position here. Now I could use one of these shapes to cut it, so I could hold Shift and select this one, Command Y, and I want to click on my shape builder tool and hold Option and erase this part. And now I could click on my group selection tool, click away, select the eye shape. I'm going to do no stroke. I am going to do a fill. I could go ahead and change the color, so I could try to give her some like a little bit of, hazelish eyes. Something like this. Now I want to bring this shape beneath this one, and let me actually bring down the stroke on this. So let me go to my layers panel, and I could do Command and left brackets to keep bringing it down. There we go. So I wanted it behind this line but above the white. And I'm going to do Command Y, and now I can see where the iris is at as well. So I'm going to create another circle. So I'm going to hold Shift, drag right here, select my selection tool, move this up, Command Y, and let me make this all black. And I could do Command Y. I see a little bit of highlights here, which we could do with the pen tool, or we could do with some ellipse tools and make them white. Maybe we could lower the transparency. So actually I'm going to do one with the pen tool, or sorry, with the ellipse tool, and then one with the pen tool. I'm going to make the fill white. And so I'm going to make a small circle here, and then I'm going to make one with the pen tool. So I just click P, the letter P. So I click there to make a custom shape there. And let's make a smaller one here. So I'm going to do that with the pencil tool. And I'm just going to freehand draw this one. And Command Y, let's go ahead and make this one white. And now I'm going to select all three of these. And let me go ahead and do 50% transparency. So I can zoom out. There we go. We have one eye. I'm not too happy with the color, so I'm going to go ahead and select it, and let me push it more towards the greens or something. Okay, that looks pretty good. And I'm just going to go ahead and do like a darker green here. So I'm going to make a selection with my pencil tool. So I'm going to click on N and do this shape here. And I'm going to click on the letter I to get my eyedropper, select this color, and I'm going to go ahead and make it a little bit darker. Click OK. Now I'm going to go ahead and hold Shift, click on this one. I could also go into my Pathfinder and click on this divide. So now I'm going to get 3 separate shapes. I'm going to click on my group selection tool, click away, and click on this bottom piece. I'm going to go ahead and delete that one. And let me hold Shift, select both of these, and let me go ahead and bring this group, because it created a group out of it, and bring these down here. Actually, I want to bring them below this line. I'm going to drag them pretty far back. I just want to be above the white part of the eye. So there we go. So that looks pretty good. And now I could go ahead and do the other eye and do the eyebrow. Actually, let me do the eyebrow. I'm going to click on my pen tool. And I'm going to do this. Add a little bit of these hairs here. And then I'm just going to go ahead and carry on with the whole shape. I'm just going to go ahead and match this part of the hair or the face right here. Command Y. Now I'm going to go ahead and make these black. And there we go. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and do the other eyebrow. Command Y. Zoom into here. I want to make sure I go underneath the hat. And let me go ahead and bring this down here. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to click on my pen tool again. Start going around the eye right here. Let's see. Follow what I did here. And let me swap these colors. And I believe this was a thinner line, so yes, it's 0.5. I'm going to select this one, do a 0.5. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the whites now. So I'm going to click on my pen tool. Right here, I'm going to try to match this. I could also do one of those ones where I split it, you know, do the shape and split it as well, but I'll just hide this one behind that stroke. So behind the black stroke that I'm tracing over. Now if I hold Option and drag this just to get that little curve, click on my direct selection tool, Command Y. Now I want to switch this to a white color with no stroke, and I want to put that below below this layer. And actually I want to, on both of these, I want to have a layer underneath where it's like a little bit more pinkish, because this part of the eye is usually pinkish. So I'm going to click on my pen tool, click here, go within the white, and eventually I'm going to put this underneath this black stroke. So what I'm going to do is click on I, select here, and then let's go ahead and make it a little more red. A little darker, something like that. Select this and then do Command or Control and then left bracket, left square brackets, and that's going to take it down a step at a time. So I want to do it below the white and below this one. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. So click on my pen tool. I'm going to stay within this black stroke here because I want it to be covered. So in essence, I don't want to, do something like that. I want to stay right underneath it. And then again, click on the selection tool, select it here on our layers panel, and Command and take it back a couple layers. So there we go. And do a Command Y. Now I'm going to click on my pen tool, and again I'm going to get this main shape for the for these eyelashes. So I'm going to start here, and remember we just want to get like the main shape. We don't have to do all the detail because we could always come back and add more lashes. Now I'm going to do Command Y, and let's fill this with black. And let me go ahead and add some of these. So I could just click on my. Let me fix this one a little bit. Now click on my pencil tool or the letter N, and start drawing some strokes here. I want to swap this. I want to make it. Whoops. I'm going to select this. Actually, undo this. I want to make sure I'm not selected on anything, and then click on my pencil tool and then swap it. So now I could start drawing these, and I believe it was 0.75. They're actually 1 point, and they're this one. So I'm drawing them from the bottom up, if you notice. Okay, so now I want to select them individually. So select that one, hold Shift, select that one. This one I didn't release while I did that, so I might have to come back and edit that one. So Command Y, let's change this to this one. And I'm noticing that the color is a little bit off. Let me delete this. So actually, I'm going to delete this point. Delete. So I'm noticing this color is a bit off. So this is because this color, when I chose the black, I just chose the black probably that was right here. And that's going to be a different black than if I double click and drag this all the way to the bottom left. So that's a much richer black. So you'll notice the numbers are going to change. So I want to make sure all my blacks are even. So I could always click on my magic wand tool and select this. And so let's see, hopefully it doesn't, let's see, since I grabbed that, I'm going to hold Shift. So So now I'm going to zoom in. I could tell my selection is only with the eyes. So now let me double click on here. And let's see if that doesn't throw anything off. So now I could see here this shape has a different black, so I'm going to double click here and make sure it's this richer black. So just make sure everything stays consistent. And let me select these other eyelashes here to continue selecting the ones that don't have that sharp point. So I could do either one of these, this one or this one. Let's see, this one actually looks better. Okay, so there's that eye. So now I'm going to do Command Y. I'm going to go ahead and create this this eye part. So get my ellipse tool, hold Shift, drag a circle. I'm going to move it up somewhere around where it lines up nicely. Command Y. Now I'm going to zoom out, click on my eyedropper tool, select this color. And I could do Command Y. I could copy the iris over, so I could select this one. Should technically be about the same size. Now hold Option or Alt. After I select it, hold Option or Alt, drag it over here. It places it beneath all this, so I'm going to do Command or Control Shift and then right bracket. So holding Shift brings it all the way to the top of my layers. So that brought it all the way to the top. Let me do Command Y and place it where it goes. Somewhere right here. And I'm going to do a new set of those highlights. So I'm going to do Command Y. Let me bring this, hold Shift and select this white area. And now I could do my my pathfinders. I could do Divide. And I could click on my group selection tool, click away. I could delete this part, and I could delete this part. And my whites areas, hold Shift. I'm going to bring those down actually. So I made a path out of these, so I want to bring these down underneath. As long as they're underneath this stroke, then it should look good. And then also this green area, the actual eye, I want to bring it underneath too. So there we go. So that changed nicely. And then I want to do Command Y. Actually, I want to bring this one, hold Command or Option and left bracket. So I want to bring it down below the white as well, just to get that curve. And let me do the highlights here. So again, I'm going to get my ellipse tool, hold Shift and drag, create a little circle. And just to practice, pen tool, make a little selection here. And then also my pencil tool and drag and create a small shape. Zoom in and redo it. I didn't see that little circle where it connects. There we go. Now I'm going to do Command Y. So I'm going to click on my selection tool. So select all of these, hold Shift, and select all of these. I'm going to make them white. Click OK, and then bring the opacity down to 50%. So now everything's matching, and I want to get that like little shadow that I have on this eye. So I'm going to go in and click on my pencil tool. So on this one, I'm going to just do this shape. And then I'm going to click on my eyedropper tool and select this dark green. Hold Shift, select this part of the eye, and I could click on my shape builder tool, hold the Option, and get rid of that one. So every time I do that, it brings this up a step, so I'm gonna select on that one, and I want to bring it down, basically underneath this this path right here. So there we go. Now I have that eye is done. So those features are done. Now I can start bringing in some shadows to the face. So I'm going to do Command Y. And actually, before I do any of that shading, I want to do these bottom eyelashes as well. I missed those, so let me zoom in and let me get my pencil tool. And these are going to be super tiny, so I want to make sure, let me see, I'm going to choose black. Actually, let me choose this dark black, and then let me swap the color. So pencil tool, and I'm going to start these at right at that line and just do a couple of them. Do Command Y, let me select all of these. And let's see what these do. Let's see if this works. And let me make them maybe half a point. So that looks good. I'm just gonna have to go in and bring these a little down so that they don't pop up over here. So, and then this one's gonna have to go a little up. So there we go. So now I have those, and let me take care of the other side. So let me get my pencil tool, which is the letter N. Take me to my pencil tool, Command Y, and let me do a few here as well. And Y, let me select these. If I hold Shift, I could select multiples at a time. The only thing I do not want to select this one, and let's go back to 0.5 on these and change these to that. These are actually pretty good. This one's about the only problem one. So click on my direct selection tool. This one a little bit, bring it up. Okay, so now that looks pretty good. Let me save this. Okay, so still in my face layer, I'm gonna do start building up the shapes for the shading on her face. So let me zoom out. So I'm actually gonna lock my colors layer. Well, before I do that, let me unlock it and let me bring these over here. So let me click on my selection tool, hold Shift and drag these over here just so I have them right next to here. I'll worry about the arms later. Kind of want to continue working on the face, so let me lock these. So I could start adding some shading. So let me go on to this next level, and I'm kind of deciding as I go what's going to be darker, what's going to be the next level up, and so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and take a shot at this. So the next area that I want to target is maybe I want to do like shape up the nose a little bit. So I'll go ahead and start working on with the next color. So I'm gonna click on my eyedropper tool, select this one, and then Command Y, and then select my pen tool. I'm gonna be on my face layer. So let me go ahead and click on this area. And so let me select this, go in here. I want this line to go kind of behind this black line. I could always come back and edit it later, but I want to get as close as I can to here. And then this kind of goes down here. And this is going to go all down here. And actually this might go here. And I'm going to take it all the way over here. And I might be using some other darker ones in there, so I'm not really too worried about being perfect here. Like I said, I could always come back and edit. And I'm going to take this one down here. And Command Y. So these are going to have to go below. But for now, let me bring this one, actually both of these, bring them down all the way below, right up, right above the main face path. And so I want to select this one, hold Shift, select the main face, which I had locked, so unlock it, hold Shift. And now I could click on my divide tool here. And let me select this shape here. And I could delete it. And I lost the shape here. It just happened to go below in this group, I believe. It's this one. So let me bring this one above. And there we go. So now I have that. And let me start doing the next shade up. So I'm going to deselect everything. Let me actually start doing some of the really dark areas. So I'm going to select this one. So I'm going to click on my eyedropper tool, select this one, click on my pen tool, do Command Y. And let me work on these. Do this one. And let me select this. And this one's going to go behind, beneath the neck and behind the hair. So for some reason it picked that up. So let me select these and this one. So if I just click the letter I, sample this, select this one, click the letter I, sample this, and then this one, click the letter I, sample this. And I want to bring them all underneath, basically the eyes, the eyebrows, and this one. So select all of these, bring them down. There we go. Okay. So now I want to select this one and this one and this one. And now I could actually click on my shape builder tool, hold Option, and I could delete both of these. And actually this one should go behind one of these. There we go. So now it's starting to look like something. And then let's go ahead and work with this color here. So I'm going to do Command Y, actually select this with my eyedropper tool, and then click on my pen tool, and let me zoom in and see what else needs a little bit darker shading. I'm actually going to go in here. And I'm thinking I'm gonna go ahead and edit my other medium one that I did. And I'm gonna go ahead and do this one. So all of these, I'm going to sample this color. This one samples this color. And let's go ahead and select all of these. And I'm going to go ahead and again bring them down. So I probably should have worked on these from the beginning before I started doing all the eyes, but and lips and all that stuff, but it's okay. That's a good thing about layers. We could always move these around. So I want them there. And actually, let me select this one, hold shift and select on this. And with my shape builder tool, I could delete this. And I'm going to add a shadow over here as well. So I'm going to bring this in over here. So I could click, as soon as I have this selected, I could click on my pencil tool, and I could, as long as I start on this line and finish somewhere on this line, I could go in and edit it. So I want to go in here. And actually I want to go about here, because I want to kind of keep that little highlight there. So that looks pretty good. And I want to edit this one as well. So I'm going to select it, click on the pencil tool, and I'm going to go up here. Then go down here. And whoops, I don't think that's what I wanted to do. That's a little more like it. And let me actually move this one over here. And I want to bring this one over here. And there we go. And then this one, I could use my pencil tool. Zoom in just to refine it. So see, this is what I mean with the pencil tool. It's kind of like, it's close, but you're not going to get exactly what you want. So I'm going to select this one. And let me edit this. As long as I start by the line and finish over here, then I could edit that. So there we go. And let me actually edit this one a bit, because I want that line down here. So could actually go here. And let me actually edit this one. Not exactly. Okay, there we go. And then let me click on this one, edit this one. And I could actually make a new one for this area here, like the chin area. I could click on my pencil tool. And I'm gonna color it with that, and I'm gonna bring this below the lips. Actually, make sure it's this one. So remember, when it's selected, it has this square. There we go. So all the pretty much I'm treating all the highlights, and then I know there should be some little darker areas here. So I'm going to select that, click on my pencil tool, or I can, click on my pen tool as well. Do this. And select the eyedropper tool, select that, and go ahead and bring it down as well. And let me go ahead and add some of this color to, this bottom part of the neck. It'll only make sense. So I click on my pencil tool. Actually, let me make a separate layer for that. And select this color, and again, drag it down below everything. There we go. Okay, so now I could start building up the shapes for the hands as well. So let me do this arm. So if I notice, let me lock up the face. This arm is going to be a little bit easier. This one's going to be a little tougher. This one is behind the hair right here. So the hair back, and then this front part is going to be in front of the hat. So we're going to have to be doing some cutting there. So let me just do a layer that says right arm. So we're looking at it from her perspective. So this would be her right arm, and this is going to be her left arm. So I'm going to name it right arm. And let me make another one that is left arm. So this left arm, I'm going to make it easy on myself, and I'm not going to do the fingers here. And since that's kind of outside of my artboard anyways, so I'm gonna just click on my pen tool. I already have this color selected for now. Let me just start clicking away here. Get the main shape here. And let me go ahead and select this whole shape, and let me go ahead and bring this one beneath the dress. So we're taking advantage of the dress shape here. And I'm going to do Command Y. Let me go ahead and do right here, I'll go ahead and do like a dark outline here. So let me go ahead and click on the pen tool. I'm just going to trace this. And I'm going to do Command Y. I'm going to use my eyedropper tool, select this dark line, and I'm going to swap the color so that it is a stroke, and I'm going to change it to, click on my selection tool, click away, and then select it again, and I'm going to go ahead and change this to this with profile. Maybe I'll make the size a little bit bigger. Command Y. I'm going to make this area darker, so that's going to be this. So I'm going to click on my pen tool, select this. So actually, eyedropper tool, select this, then click on my pen tool. And let me zoom into here, do Command Y. I'm going to get this shape here, and I'm going to kind of trace this. Command Y. So there's that, and then the next color over here. Let me go ahead and select my pen tool again. I deselect it, and then actually click on the letter I, select this one, pen tool. In reality, the color doesn't matter right now because we could always come back and change it. So now I'm going to go over all of this. And Y, and I want to always come back and edit it. So click on my direct selection tool and get this shape here, and let me bring this path down below this dark one. I want to bring this path up. That one should be above everything. And let me select this, because then I'm gonna click on my pen tool and do this shape here. And I'm going to deselect it, select it again, and let's go ahead and change this again. Up the size a little bit. Command Y. I'm going to select this, click away, and then click on my pen tool. That way it picks up that color. So now I am going to create that shape here. See here. This is going to be a tough one. I want to not select this path. I'm just going to get close to it, and then I'm going to go ahead and follow it. And once I'm outside of my artboard, then it's not as crucial. And then I could go ahead and hold Shift and select this. Now with my shape builder tool, get rid of this area. And let me zoom in, edit this a little bit. And I want to bring this line back up. So bring that one all the way up. And maybe I could do another shape here where we could see this highlight, and we'll select that other color that's almost the color of the highlight. So actually, what I'm gonna do is select this one, hold shift and select this one, and I'm gonna make it just a little bit lighter. And click OK. Okay, there we go. One thing I noticed, let me go back to the face area, unlock this. Let me make this part a little darker, maybe with this color. I'm going to click on my pen tool, and I'm going to go ahead and make this area and actually we have the hair back behind, so that should technically be behind that area. So I'm going to hold shift, select this, and erase it with my shape builder tool. And actually that looks a little bit better. Okay, so we have this shape built, and let's go ahead and lock the face, lock her left arm, and we will now work on her right arm. Okay, so for the right arm, I know it's going to be behind this hair, and again in front of the hat over here. So maybe I'll just have like the fingers, these main parts that are going to go above the hat. So for the right arm, let me go ahead and drag it underneath the hair back. And let me just get the pen tool, and I'm going to start drawing these shapes. So start it over here. Command Y, and let me go up here. I'm saying that this finger I could do separate, and then this finger I could do separate. So maybe this finger is going to go above the hat front, and then everything else could go over here. So I'm going to build it in different layers, different areas. Bring this here. So these fingers are technically going to be separate. And connect it here. And then let me do, so that's going to be right arm. And then these fingers that go on top, I could, let me go ahead and make a new layer up here that's in hat front. Above hat front, I'm going to make this hand slash fingers, or front hand. And now let me zoom in and make these fingers. So let me go ahead and create this one. Put this one here, and then let me go ahead and do this finger. And I could always come back and do the nails separate. And then I'm going to go ahead and do this one. let's see. So let me start doing the fingernails. I'm gonna click on my pen tool. And I'm going to choose a color, so I'm going to go something like this, a little purplish. Click OK, Command Y. Do this one. Now I'm gonna actually make all these shapes, select them and then make it the light color here. And I can start adding some of the shading. So let me work on this right arm first. Let me lock up the front hand and fingers layer. I see I have like a shadow here, here as well, here. So let me go ahead and start doing that. So make a shape here. I'm going to select this next color here and then hold shift and with my shape builder tool select that and make another one that is down right here. Hold shift, select the arm, shape builder tool, and now I'm going to go ahead and do the darker part right here. So pen tool, select the next darker color, and down here as well. Hold shift, select all of those, and then again my shape builder tool, hold the option and erase this part. So we're essentially gonna repeat that a few times, and we will let's see. Now we have that dark part here and just like a little sliver of it here. Click on my pen tool and I'm going to do the same thing down here. This one and then this one, I'm going to just match this line up because I just want to do this here. Hold shift, select both of these, actually not this one, this one. And my dropper tool and that next one. And we're just going to repeat this process to get rid of this. So I'm going to look at this shape here. I'm going to click on my pen tool. And I'm going to build the outside of this finger. this part's going to get a little tricky, but let me go ahead and do this along here. Hold shift, select that, and then shape builder and remove this part. Now this line should technically be, I could click on my direct selection tool, so A, and let me move this over here, make this round so I could manipulate it here. All right, so now we have that. And I'm going to go ahead and add that to this area too. So I'm going to click on my pen tool. So I'm going to add the shadow underneath this finger. And that gives me the shape down there too. So hold shift and again my shape builder tool, delete this area, delete this area. And then I could select my next darker color. So I could select this one and then pen tool. And then let's see. So I want to make this one go beneath that dark layer. So let's open up my layers panel, open up right arm, let me bring that beneath, actually beneath this as well. And then hold shift and select our hand here. And we want to get rid of this and this. So let's hold the option there. And I'm going to do Command Y and make another shape very similar. Click on my pen tool. So this is going to be that lighter color. Command Y and select our eyedropper tool. Select this, and again let's bring that down beneath all this, and hold shift, select this shape, and let's get rid of those areas. And then let's see, that looks pretty good. Now we got to do the shading around here, around this finger. So let's unlock our front hand and fingers. Let's lock our right arm. So unlock this one. I'm going to click on my pen tool, zoom in a little bit. So since this is actually above this one, I am going to have to follow these lines as best as I could. And I'm just going to use it here for some separation. So I selected that, and let me click on my eyedropper tool. I'm going to go ahead and select this color. And then I'm going to go ahead and click on my pen tool and select the next color, the next lighter color. I'm going to take it from here. And I'm going to select this color. And let me bring that one underneath. And let me actually shape this here so it looks a little bit more like a finger. Let me click on my direct selection tool. And now let's work on this one. The same thing, we're going to add those shadows there. And this one is technically above, so let's go above here. Actually, this one should be below this one. Okay, so that is correct. Let me manipulate this one a little bit, bring it over here. Click on my pen tool. And I'm looking at, this one has this dark area here, so I'm gonna select this one. Click on my pen tool. Select this finger. And I'm gonna erase this part. And then this part, I'm gonna make this darker color. I'm gonna bring the nail up above everything. And then on this one, I'm gonna do the same thing, do that darker area up on top. Select this color, hold shift, select that one, and then let's erase this part we don't need. And let's bring this nail up. Zoom in, bring this down over here, bring this nail up. And then we could go ahead and add the shadow down here for this finger. So I'm going to click on my pen tool. I'm going to add that darker color first. Hold shift and select this finger. I could go ahead and delete that part now. So delete that. Select this color. I'm going to go ahead and select this darker color. And actually, this should be behind. So I'm going to drag that underneath. This should be above. And then I'll go ahead and add this color to it as well. I can select it from here, bring this one down. Below that, hold shift and select this one because we want to erase this part. Let me just move this point over here so that it has somewhere where it connects there. And we'll add the shadow to this one, and then we will be pretty much done. So let's see. And this one's actually below, so that's going to be, lock this. This is going to be on the left arm, but turn that off. Sorry, the right arm. So that's that one. So let's unlock this one and go here. So I'm going to do that one. I'm going to go ahead and make it this really dark one because it's going to have the shadow from the hat. Like this, and go ahead and erase this. And let's go ahead and add another one. So hold shift and let's erase this area. And now this one, select this and let's make it this color, and we will send it back. I'm going to do Command or Control and left square brackets, and there we go. Alright, so now I am done with all that. Let me go ahead and erase my colors palette here. Let me go ahead and lock this, turn this off. So there is our finished product. Let me go ahead and add a background. So let me unlock the background layer. Since we are working with these reds, I'm going to make it a nice red background. So I'm going to click on my rectangle tool, select my BG layer, and I'm going to go ahead and click and drag to create a rectangle around my whole artboard. Double click here. Actually, let me select, unlock the dress and select this. Maybe this one. Let's see what color I like. This is the color I wanted to select, so let me copy this one, Command C, and then let me select the background. Select it, and let me copy this color. And there we go, I have a nice red color. Or you know what, actually, let me add a gradient to this. So let me do, let me go into my gradient panel. So window and gradient, which is right here. So I'm going to double click this color and click on the eyedropper tool, and let me select this color that I wanted, and let me double click this color, click on the eyedropper tool and select this, so the really bright red. Let me delete these points so I could drag them down, or I could select it and then click on the trash can, move this to 50%. This slider, move this one all the way left, all the way right, 50, and let me do a radial gradient. So actually make sure I'm selected on this, and let me do the radial gradient. So now let me click on my gradient tool, and let me do that. Make this color a little darker. And let me double click here and make this color a little bit brighter. Some more cyan. Less black. More magenta, and there we go. So you kind of want the glow coming from behind her. And there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and call that done. Let me go ahead and save it. Lock this layer, turn this one off, save it. So what you're going to do is you're going to turn this into me. Go ahead and close it. And what you're going to do is go to your Illustrator file, and this is going to be what you're going to turn into me. So you're going to turn in your Illustrator file, and you're going to turn in your original JPEG as well, because I'm going to be comparing your work. So there you go. This one should be pretty fun, a little bit tedious, but we should get some nice results out of this project. So can't wait to see your guys' work. Like I said, should be a fun one. So Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next tutorial.